Lecture 3 Summary of Diploma in IFR. So the topic is IFRS 15 Revenue from Contracts. In this topic, we are going to go through the core principles of the standard, the 5-step model to recognize revenue, then the criteria, the satisfaction criteria, the contract cost, common transaction types, and presentation and disclosure. So under the core principles, the main thing is definition of revenue, then we'll go through the transfer of control and scope and exceptions of the standard. The 5-step model. So these are the 5 steps and it is in this order. Step 1, first you need to identify a contract. There has to be a contract before you can recognize revenue. If there is no contract, no revenue. Okay? And revenue is the first item that we recognize in our statement of profit and loss. It's an income. Out of the 5 elements that we have studied in conceptual framework, revenue is an income. Okay, so identify the contract. Then separate performance obligation has to be there. We'll see what this performance obligation means. Once you perform, your performance is done. It's an obligation that you have to meet. Okay, for example, you have an obligation to transfer a good or to perform a service. That is performance obligation. Step 3, there should be a price, transaction price. Then you have to allocate that transaction price if there is more than one performance obligation. Sometimes with the product you might give them a service, after sale service or a warranty. So that is an additional performance obligation. Then you finally recognize revenue. So step 1 is further classified into this. So for a contract, it should be approved, there should be a commitment, there should be rights and terms of the parties. Okay, should be identified from that contract who has what rights. Then there should be a commercial substance. That means commercial means there should be an objective to make a profit. Commercial substance, not a charity or anything. Then probable consideration collection. That means you should receive an amount, you should be entitled to an amount. Then under performance obligation, goods and services, there should be a distinct goods or services. It could be a bundle of goods or services also. It should be capable of being separate, and that means there are separately identifiable promises. When you are making a promise, those promises are separately you are able to identify. Okay, for transaction price, variable consideration, significant financing component, probability weighted estimates. What are this? You will already know when you watch my full lecture 3, that is IFRS 15. Then transaction price. So you can allocate transaction price based on standalone selling price or relative proportionate basis. There are questions on this which you need to do. That is allocation of transaction price that I have covered in my lecture 3. Okay, which you can get on my website. Then revenue recognition. So when you satisfy the obligation, you measure the outcome. That's about the 5-step model. Now, satisfaction criteria. Either you are satisfying it at a point in time or over a time. So you can recognize over a period of time, or you are recognizing revenue at a point in time. See, at a point in time is easier. If these 5 things are present, that means you have a right to payment because you have transferred the good or a service. That means there is a legal transfer that have taken place. The legal title has been transferred to the customer. Customer is physically getting that control of the goods. Risks and rewards are transferred from you to the customer, and customer have accepted that good. If these 5 things are there, you will recognize the revenue at a point in time. Over a time, this 3 has to be there. That means simultaneous benefit consumption. The moment you are giving them a service, they are getting the benefit. For example, this example like what I'm doing right now, I'm teaching you. The minute I'm teaching you are getting the benefit. So it's a simultaneous benefit. So I will recognize, it's a service which I will recognize revenue over a period of time. I can't recognize it at a point in time. Okay. Customer control asset creation. Okay. Customer is having a control. The minute the asset is created, customer is having that control. It is not something that I'm storing right now. After some point in time, I'm giving that control to the customer. It's not like that. The minute the asset is created, customer is having that control. For example, this service, the minute I'm creating this video right now, You are having the control over this video. Then no alternative use and right to payment. You cannot have an alternative use for it. For example, I've created a building for a customer, let's say. So that building has been customized according to that customer. I cannot use it for an alternative purpose, for another purpose. And I have a right to payment also. For whatever, let's say I've covered it for 60% or 70% of it I've covered, I've built that building, I have the right to payment. So if these three conditions are there, revenue will be recognized over a time. Okay, to recognize revenue over a time, there are two methods: output method based on the output, based on your result, and input method based on the cost that you have incurred. So we have questions for this too also, output input. You will see in my lecture 3. Then the contract cost, because it's a revenue from customer with contract, there is a cost also. There's a cost of obtaining that contract, there's a cost to fulfill that contract. We'll see what are those costs and how to deal with those costs in my lecture 3 in detail when you purchase the course, and amortization and recoverability. Okay, see, when this costs are capitalized, okay, you are taking it as an asset, this contract cost. So once you capitalize, how you depreciate or amortize assets? We amortize intangible assets. Contract cost is not a tangible asset, you cannot touch it, it's an intangible. That's why we amortize, not depreciate. So that's why we amortize it also. Once you capitalize the contract cost, you amortize it. Then these are the common transaction types. Out of this you can be asked any. Okay, you have to know the treatment for each of them. One is warranty. This is a very common question. So warranties, it could be one of the two. Either it is a separate performance obligation, PO, or under provision, it comes under IS 37. So to know whether it is a separate PO or IS 37, you have to watch my lecture 3. Okay. Then the next transaction, principal versus agent, where I am working as an agent and I am selling your good, or I am the main person, principal, selling good. So how a principal will recognize revenue, how an agent will recognize revenue are different. Repurchase agreement, forward, call and put, there are options. We'll see what repurchase agreement, how you deal with it. In lecture 3 you will see. Okay, the detailed lecture is there on my website, so you can see the treatment. Then consignment arrangement, build and hold, sale with right of return, all this treatment is there with questions. Finally, the presentation and disclosure. So if you have a conditional right, it's a contract asset. Conditional right to receive that asset, it's a contract asset. Conditional right means based on a condition, it's a conditioned. Okay, you have a conditional right, based on a condition you have a right, it's your right. The minute you have a right, recall the definition of an asset according to conceptual framework. What does it say? Right to receive a cash, it's an asset. So this is an asset, it's a contract asset. You have to clearly label it, not an asset, contract asset. What type of asset? Contract asset. Same way, contract liability, then you will present it as a deferred income. It's a deferred income. Okay, there are questions. How do you know it's a contract asset and liability? You will only come to know when you watch my lecture 3 fully. That is IFRS 15 lecture fully. And it's very important, you should know it, because this will be tested in your diploma course. Okay, they will be asked. And IFRS 15 is also a very common question, common standard that is tested. Receivable, unconditional right. If you do not have an unconditional right, it's a receivable. Remember receivable, your debtors, which you recognize under current assets, and your statement of profit and loss progress, because it's an income element. Because revenue itself is an income element. Income are recorded in profit and loss. That's why we have talked about statement of profit and loss, not statement of financial position. So that's it about IFRS 15. I shall see you in the next video with another standard.